maybe just a cyst. When it spreads, and it will, she will be too sick to work. She will be unable to care for her children any longer, or even to care for herself. Finally, her income will be depleted to the point that a kind of twisted form of the Samaritan will arrive. He will help. He will offer her his denarii, only this time it won't just be 2 denarii. It may be thousands. It is too late to save her. These children will lose their mother, but now that she is closer to death than one half dead, now that she has nothing left and no chance, help comes. The state will spare no expense to throw all kinds of medicine at her, now that it doesn't matter. This man and this woman are all too familiar. Even here in our county, 125,000 people live between those who have good health care and can afford it through their jobs and those who qualify for aid through the government. You have met them, and I have met them, and everyone we know has met them. The road they lie on, as I just said, is found right here in Morristown. It's found nearby in Newark. It's found far away in Texas and in California. The road is found in every village, town, and city in the most developed country in the world. Interestingly enough, the road is much harder to find in several other countries, those we consider less developed. In those lands, health care is considered a human right and not an economic commodity. Professor William Schau, a Harvard economist said, before you can set up a health care system for any country, you have to know that country's basic ethical values. The question is, do people in your country have a right to health care? If the people believe that medical care is a basic right, a system is designed where anybody who is sick can see a doctor. What society considers medical care to be an economic commodity, then you set up a system that distributes health care based on the ability to pay. Religions are pretty clear on the answer to this question. Healing is the work that we are called to do in this world. If you interpret healing to be a notion of social justice, like tikkun olam as you would find in Judaism, the call to repair all that is broken in our world, you would recognize that to set any man or woman on the road outside of those who deserve care is immoral. If you are a Christian, the stories of Jesus healing the lame and the sick and exercising his considerable gifts on the least of these provide another example. The Unitarian Universalist General Assembly has passed resolutions that call for reform of our healthcare system, and we would add the testimony of human experiences to the wisdom of sacred texts today, to share your stories about how our healthcare has preserved life, has cared for our neighbors, has brought to bear the best of our technology to make a difference in the lives of those we have loved and those we have merely heard about, and to share the stories of how it has fallen short. This is no time to sit on the sidelines. Way too much is at stake. I will begin by sharing a window into a couple of my own experiences, for the human experience is in many ways the sacred text of Unitarian Universalists. I spent the better part of my junior and senior year in high school in and out of hospitals in New York City, in Texas, and in Boston, specifically on pediatric cancer, because I'll never forget. First, I can share that I have seen the power of technological advances research and the compassionate care of nurses, doctors, friends, congregation members, and so many Samaritans who did stop, who did make a difference, who brought the half-dead to life once again. Second, I can share the cruel reality that I learned of how easy it would be to fall outside of that circle of care. When I was diagnosed with an aggressive and advanced cancer, my family was lucky in that my mother was able to take time away from work to help be a part of my team of care. My friend Asia, 8 years old down the hall, was not so lucky. Her family did not have health insurance. Her mother was a single parent like mine, but she had to work 2 jobs to be able to afford Asia's care. Her mother was almost never there. Asia was left alone to deal with the devastating effects of chemotherapy on her own, rescued occasionally by one of those Big Apple circus clowns who visited our rooms from time to time. I remember another evening when the sounds of 2 parents talking about their options for their daughter could be heard clearly. Their tears and whispers were just on the other side of a thin curtain that fell between us. What I gathered was that they were caught in between. Their story is like that of so many others. They had too much money to qualify for certain financial programs, but not enough to afford the treatment that would give their child the best shot of getting off that road. I listened quietly as they deliberated about what to do and called friends and relatives for advice. Should they give what they had away in order to qualify? What obligations did they have to their son, Mark, his education, his security? I can hardly imagine what it would be like to know that the option you could afford would most likely not save your child, and that other people, whether richer or poorer, had a better chance to save their children. At the end of my treatment, our insurance company dropped us. They exercised a practice which is called rescission. That is to say that they look for an excuse to drop coverage for someone who threatens the bottom line. Our health insurance system is designed less for the purpose of covering people's bills if they get sick, although they certainly do this to a point, and more to ensure that at the end of tallying financial inputs and outputs, their investors get a dividend and that the considerable administrative costs can be paid. It is interesting to reflect on the fact that in many Western developed countries, the average expenditure per dollar not spent on direct health care is about 5 cents, whereas in our country, 20 cents